Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are thrilled to have you here on this Shabbat, and we take a moment, as we do each and every Shabbat, to welcome one another here. And I'm going to invite you to do something pretty simple. So first we're going to do is we're going to say Shabbat Shalom to the people who are watching at home or in hospital rooms, wherever you may be in the world. We want to say Shabbat Shalom to you. So turn around and say Shabbat Shalom to the cameras and say, we welcome you here. And we're thrilled to have you here. And you can always type in Shabbat Shalom on the box cast, and glad to have you here. Now, for everyone else, I'm going to ask you to please rise. Not for the holy moment before the ark or anything like that, but of saying Shabbat Shalom and doing this crazy thing, which is going down the aisles or in front of you, to turn in every single direction, north, south, east, west, in every direction. Say Shabbat Shalom to the people who are all around and welcome one another here. Shabbat Shalom. It's my pleasure to invite forward our Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe to please come light the Shabbat candles and to sanctify Shabbat with the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. We sing together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra hekodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta be'otanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinachaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. you so much. I want to thank you for your leadership in our congregation and all of the work that you are doing to not only create better advocacy for reproductive health and freedom of choice, but for creating a community here in our congregation that is committed to this, and for creating relationships that bring holiness into our community and then spread that holiness outward. I am deeply appreciative of your work and your commitments to this endeavor. So thank you. Thank you. Be seated. This week, our oldest son turned 12 years old, which I don't know, there's a part of me that feels like when it's a child's birthday, it's an amazing thing, but also I definitely gave a high five to Anna, too. Feels like, yes, he's still alive for another year. We did it. But it just, an opportunity to sort of reflect back, of course, to see the pictures of when our kiddo was 1 year old, to seeing him now, and it's just an amazing to see that growth of mind and body and spirit and soul. And so we want to take an opportunity to share sort of the wonderful good things that have happened in our community, whether in your life, right, the things that have happened in your life that are sometimes big celebrations, sometimes just small little wins, things that are meaningful to you, and to share them with one another so that we as a community can elevate and raise the joy that we have in our community and celebrate with one another. Anyone be willing to share? Please. Mazel tov. B'sha'a tova, one of your youngest cousins becoming a father in August. That's awesome. Mazel tov. Anyone? Yeah. Wow. Way to go. Way to go for being seventh in the state of Indiana. That's awesome. That's great. Anyone else? Sorry, yes, absolutely. So seventh in the state of Indiana in chess, and in the picture, she was also the only girl in the picture, which is also awesome. That's great. Yes, please. Wow. That's awesome. Ron, Renee, that's fantastic. And congratulations. Congratulations. And to a lifetime of dedicated service that you've had too. So thank you very much. That's awesome. So great for your retirement. What else? Other wonderful things that are happening? Anyone? Yes. Wow. So for those who didn't hear, that an Iraqi girl who moved here when she was 4 years old was just accepted to the Southwest School, the Northwest School of the Arts. Northwest School of the Arts, excuse me. Yes, yeah, Asher. You got into your school's highest choir as a freshman. Way to go. That's great. Fantastic. Anyone else? Yes. Congratulations. Waiting for booking a gig. That's awesome. Great. Well, for wonderful things, for birthdays and for getting into schools and for choirs and for booking a gig, for retirements and for all wonderful things, we thank God not only for giving us life, but sustaining our lives to help us reach joyous occasions together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
brief note before we begin Shabbat. This evening, Rabbi Erdheim was supposed to be leading us as a rabbi in our congregational service this evening, and she is in New Jersey taking care of her mother, who has been ill, and so we are expressing our hope for her mother's healing and wholeness in our community. And so the task of this particular conversation was left to me, and of course, as we embrace the sanctity of Shabbat, and as we have chosen to dedicate this evening to reproductive rights, I recognize fully that this is a theme that's deeply rooted in our congregation's commitment to justice and compassion, a commitment to justice and compassion that was really helped to be molded and shaped by my predecessor, Rabbi Judy Schindler. And it is about the preservation of life, and it has been about the guiding of our values. So as some of you may know, I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and I grew up in a family of doctors and lawyers. I, yes, am the rebel rabbi. It's really rebellious, as you can see. But I grew up in a family of 6 OBGYNs who not only ran the Colorado Women's Clinic, but also made dating in high school really awkward. And the sort of area of the women's clinic that they ran, it turns out that my uncles and my family members were really involved with Planned Parenthood. In fact, the medical procedure area of the main Planned Parenthood offices in Denver was named for my uncle. And when he died in 2020, right in the midst of COVID, it's where his family and our family directed our donations. So beyond that awkwardness, or even having my uncle teach my sex ed class when I was a teenager, in truth, the conversations at home that we had were pretty interesting. Because I was immersed at an early age in discussions about reproductive health and reproductive rights. And these conversations were enriched by the strong convictions also of 3 generations of Wellesley women that are in my family. They all highlighted the complexity behind the need for abortion, from health and financial concerns to family planning. But I didn't go, the route of doctor and lawyer, and so while shaped by my upbringing, I also approached this in these conversations from a deeply held religious perspective about when life begins, from a Jewish perspective, to the application of pikuach nefesh, the sacred obligation of preserving life, of prioritizing obligation to health and well-being of pregnant individuals. And I approach this from hard conversations that I've had with individuals and families who have been deeply and profoundly struggled with the decisions that they have had to make in their lives. And so that's where I want to begin, by recognizing that this isn't a theoretical conversation for so many people in our congregation. This is real stuff, and it's real for people who are in the sanctuary this evening. Many in our community, many in this room and online, have been touched by the issue of abortion directly or indirectly. And I want to ask that as we approach the stories that we're going to hear tonight, as we hear and listen to one another, that we do so with compassion and with the respect that each person deserves. Tonight, we are honored to welcome members of the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe, who will share their reflections and readings with us. And it's a reminder, too, to all of us that this bima does not solely belong to the rabbis and cantors of our congregation. It is the prayer space of our community. And the stories and thoughts that are shared tonight stem from personal journeys and experiences and strongly held and deeply held religious beliefs. You may find that you disagree with some of what is said, and that's okay, because I want to encourage you to listen openly, to approach each story with curiosity, and above all, to respect one another, because our diversity of thought, our diversity of experience enriches our community, and it is through listening and understanding that we grow. Together, tonight is about a beautiful opportunity to learn from one another, to be moved by the stories and shared documentary that we're going to see later this evening, and to reflect on how we can support one another in our journey towards greater care and greater compassion. We welcome Shabbat with the words of L'cha Dodi.
Shabbat nekabela, go'i v'shalom ateref Torah, gam b'simcha u'b'zola, toch emuneh eyam segula, go'i chala, go'i chala. Dodi likrat chala, yalalai, 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 ne Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat chala, yalalai, 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 ne Shabbat nekabela. La 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 Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yalalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, lai. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibartam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha ubisharecha lema'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Be'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Is this working? Okay. I'm Rebecca Weisenthal, and I'm a member of the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe. And we were asked to write reflections on this very important topic. Shabbat is a sacred time for reflection, and here is mine. I recall how Gloria Steinem, in the preface and dedication of one of her most recent books, dedicated it to an obscure British physician, likely no longer alive, who upon the dissolution of her ill-fated engagement to a man en route to India, learned she was pregnant. That's Gloria Steinem. This doctor granted her a life-saving abortion. Life-saving because she was in the middle of graduate school, she was off to India. Her life may not have been in danger, but her life as she foresaw it had just crumbled around her. Her engagement had fallen through. She would have had to have raised a child at a young age by herself. Her mother had schizophrenia, and there were lots of considerations. This doctor, who was an anonymous, obscure man, and this was at a time when it wasn't, again, like today, we didn't have the right to have abortions. But she found him, and he told her that he would do this procedure as long as she promised him that she would go out and have a fabulous life, by which he meant filled with tikkun olam. That is my interpretation of a fabulous life. And that is exactly what she did. This brought tears to my eyes when I read it several years ago, and is reminiscent of the lives of so many women who, for so many told and untold reasons, such as medical, family, economic, developmental, relational abuse, or miscalculation, find or have found themselves pregnant and facing calculable or incalculable decisions that must be their decisions, hopefully with consultation of such a good doctor as cited above. Reform Judaism, with its call to activism, like hers, demands reproductive justice and women's bodily integrity, or right to make conscious and conscientious decisions about what to do in all kinds of situations. How fortunate we are to have a home in a people or religious tradition that prizes the ability to think and have personal agency. That is the essence of my Jewish identity. My husband of 30 years, a cradle Catholic, was and is so drawn to this unique heritage of ours, precisely because, as he exclaimed in awe at one of the first Jewish services he attended with me, you're allowed to disagree here in Judaism, and loudly, and even talk at the same time. None of those things happened in growing up in his wonderful Catholic family or at church when they went rarely, although more now. But and we've been doing so ever since, disagreeing loudly, talking at the same time, and all of that is critical. It's part of how we make decisions. It's how we gather data. It's how we let science lead in some of these things. And we as a group must do everything we can to protect all women's choices and prerogatives to do the same prior to inclusive of health care, reproductive decision making, or decisions about when, if, and how to bring children into the world, how to parent and family, and how to embody Jewish values, which really is a personal choice. There isn't just one way to embody Jewish values. However, in Reform Judaism, which is what makes it so attractive to me, along with humanistic Judaism, or secular humanism, is that there is less dictating of what you have to do, less dogma in a lot of situations, and a realization that behaviors are context dependent. I'm a psychologist and I'm a cognitive behavioral psychologist, so we talk a lot about how environments can lead a person to certain behaviors that they never thought they might have to research or participate in, and unforeseen circumstances that are unfathomable, just like what's happening now in our country and in the world in so many ways. We just can't believe that we're back to losing this type of rights and thing that we have fought so hard for. So that's all I'm going to say, but I'm just glad to see everybody here, and hopefully we can all make a difference and get back to how things were when I was in college, and we didn't have to worry about this important thing that we may need at some time. All right, thank you.
also a member of the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe. You may be wondering about seeing a boy up here with the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe. I'm here because I believe that reproductive rights are important. Access to reproductive health care provides women with freedom and safety regarding their health. As a father of 2 adult daughters, I want them to have the freedom to take care of their bodies and their families as they see fit. The recent stories about women whose lives are in danger because of strict abortion restrictions are disgraceful. It's a sad commentary on our healthcare system when women cannot get health care to protect their ability to reproduce and, in some cases, save their lives. I do not want that to happen to my daughters or granddaughters or to other women. I work as a greeter at Planned Parenthood. On a recent shift, a woman with Georgia plates arrived about 11 a.m. I went to escort her to the door and asked if she came up from Georgia. She said she got up at 5 a.m. and drove to Charlotte for her appointment. Again, it is a disgrace that she had to drive 4 or 5 hours to get health care that should be readily available. Why did Georgia and other states make doctors afraid to provide health care treatment? All the greeters agree that abortion is health care. Protesters gather at the entrance to the parking lot. They are prohibited from entering the property. However, they post anti-abortion signs and Jesus Saves signs on the street leading to the center. They try to give patients anti-abortion pamphlets when they drive in. Even worse, they yell at patients and their companions with claims that they are killing babies, that Planned Parenthood is a place of death, that an abortion won't solve their problems. When patients are leaving, they talk about there is time to get abortion reversal pills. Reports I have heard say such pills don't work and can be dangerous for the patient. When yelling at one patient that they could help her with a child, she responded, "Are you going to give me $185,000 to take care of the child?" She got no response from the protesters. As greeters, we don't ask patients why they are there. It is clear that some struggle with the decision. Some change their minds. For patients struggling, we tell them to take their time. It is their decision. I mentioned that I want women in my life to have the choice if they need it. I want all women to have that choice. I'd like to get the government out of healthcare decision-making. The decision to terminate or continue a pregnancy should be between the mother, her partner, and her physician. I find it hypocritical that politicians who talk a lot about limited government and keeping the government out of personal lives want the government to impose restrictions on reproductive health care that should be personal with the patient, their family, and their medical professionals. In the coming elections, I will use my vote for candidates that support reproductive health care rights. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Day
Shabbat is not the only thing that we guard. We continue with the words of Veshamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורות הברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We're going to rise now with the words of the Amidah. We're going to actually begin with the words of Adonai Sefatai Titach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha, and then we're going to continue in silence with the prayers that are in our hearts. Please rise.
La Shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
Hi, I'm Chrissa Klein, Meryl Schenkel, and we're more members of the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe. I guess personally, this has been important to me since I was quite young, and my mother took me to my first pro-choice rally where she told me, it's your body, it's your choice. And that was probably the first time I encountered people with different opinions who were yelling and screaming at us. So we wanted to share this prayer from the National Council of Jewish Women about the need to protect everyone's choices and everyone's rights. God of our ancestors, Elohei Avotenu ve'emotenu, we affirm that you have created each of us in your sacred image, endowed with the inherent right to dignity and autonomy. We ask that you guide us towards a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. We affirm that reproductive freedom, that sacred right to own the personhood of one's own body, is a fundamental part of the just society for which we strive in your name.
We ask that you endow us with the strength and resolve we need, because the path that lays ahead is challenging, and we all need resilience, strength, and courage. We ask that you protect the most impacted and marginalized among us, because it is they who are at most risk. We do this work in your name, God, because we are compassionate, loving creations of a compassionate, loving, and just God. This is holy, sacred work. Ready? May our country become a place of liberty and justice for all, and may our care for one another include care and respect for each other's rights, to good and affordable health care, including abortion care, and the right to live safely and securely as we each follow our path of conscience and the God we each do or do not believe in. Amen.
Thank you. We continue now also with a prayer for Israel, and I want to invite you to read the prayer with me. God of our ancestors, Elohim, Avotenu ve'imotenu, affirm that you have created each of us in your sacred image, endowed with the inherent right to dignity and to autonomy. We ask that you guide us towards a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. We affirm that reproductive freedom, the sacred right to our own personhood of one's own body, is a fundamental part of the just society for which we strive. Protect the most impacted and marginalized amongst us, because it is they who are most at risk. We do this work in your name, God. because we are the community passionate, loving creators of compassionate, loving, and just God. This is holy and sacred work. May our country become a place of liberty and justice for all, and may our care for one another include care and respect for each other's right to good and affordable health care, including abortion care, and the right to live safely and securely as we each follow our path of conscience and the God that we each. Amen. All right, now the prayer for Israel. Mikor HaChaim, source of life. Mikor Shel Tikva, source of hope. We gather together with faith and hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel. Protect us in our time of need. Soften our hearts against indifference. Open our eyes to the humanity in all. Guide our thoughts towards compassion. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to the mourners, courage to those facing adversity, wisdom to the leaders, and ensure the safe return of those unjustly held. Fill the world with your light, O God, and spread over us the shelter of your peace. Amen.
We now take a moment to pray for those who are in need of healing. As the names of loved ones in our congregation and members of our congregation begin to scroll, I invite you to share the names of those in your circle as my eyes meet yours. Together, let us all pray as one for those who are in need of healing with Mi Sheberach. Mi Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Bettman, and I too am a member of the Girls Just Want to Have Choices tribe here at TBE. What I'm going to read you is a story of self. Back in the 1980s, one of my nieces came to me for help. She discovered that she was pregnant. She was 17 or 18 at the time. The boy in question dropped her when he found out, and she didn't want her parents to know. I knew she was incapable of raising a child at that time in her life. I advised her that she had two choices: abortion or carrying the pregnancy to term and giving the child up for adoption. I let her know that I would be there for her, whichever avenue she chose, but the decision had to be hers. After much thought and soul searching, she chose to have an abortion. I then convinced her to tell her parents, and we were all there for her. The abortion was done by her physician in a hospital in a clean and safe environment. Ultimately, she did marry and raised two beautiful children. I'm glad I was there and able to be there for my niece, and that she was able to make the choices that were right for her at that time in her life. My Jewish faith was mostly responsible for how I decided to support her. As a Jew, I believe that every human being was created in the image of God, and as such, every person has the right to make choices for themselves, especially one as impactful and personal as reproductive health. As a Jew, I also believe that a fetus is not a living being until it takes its first breath. Every moment before then, the life of the mother must take precedence. As an American, I believe in the principles of separation of church and state that are clearly outlined in the United States Constitution. Restrictions on abortion access are a direct infringement on my religious freedom. As an American and as a Jew, I stand firm in my conviction that every person should have the freedom to make choices regarding their own bodies, according to their own values. Because I was born and raised a Jew in this country, I believe I made the right decision then and hope to give future generations the right to choose as well. Shabbat Shalom.
In the heart of the stories and reflections that were given this evening is a profound message. It's a message that our congregation, Temple Bethel, and in this sanctuary and in this community, that we are a space and a place where we can stand with one another through life's complex decisions. The shared stories, thank you, Rebecca and Harry and Phyllis, and Krissa and Meryl, thank you for your prayers as well, that we recited perfectly after you. Because they remind us of the beauty in honoring each individual path, the strength found in mutual support, and the essential need for a care that always upholds dignity and, Phyllis, as you said, personal autonomy. Judaism offers us profound guidance during challenging times. We have thousands of years of wisdom that help us through the most difficult moments of our lives. And so it makes sense that there is wisdom about an issue like reproductive health. Why? Because the very first commandment in the Torah is peru urvu, to be fruitful and to multiply. And if that's the first commandment that we have in the Torah, there's bound to be problems that arise from that. And while that is certainly a value, Judaism has always recognized that the sanctity of life includes, first and foremost, the well-being of the pregnant person. Judaism even mandates abortion when the life of the pregnant person is at risk. And this principle, deeply rooted in Jewish laws and ethics, highlights the moral imperative to safeguard access to reproductive health care as an expression not just of choice, but of our religious freedoms in the United States. Sharing our stories has always been a powerful form of testimony and healing. And by doing so, we contribute to a more compassionate and understanding community, breaking down the barriers of stigma and the barriers of silence. As we look forward as a congregation, our path is one of continued advocacy and support, ensuring that those in need can access essential care, including legal protections and accurate information. Because this is about a commitment to the unwavering belief in the sanctity of personal autonomy and religious freedom. And tonight, as we embrace this mission, our thoughts turn to the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach, and it's a prayer that is a timeless call to action and hope for a future marked by justice and peace, a future where every person is honored for themselves. This prayer is not merely a wish for what is to come, but a commitment to the work that is required to realize that that vision comes about. And in carrying these stories and lessons forward, we inspire one another to create a world that truly reflects the best of who we are and what we all aspire to be. We rise now with the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach La'adon HaKol, La'tet Gidula Le'yotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. At this time, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts as our own. Our congregation remembers we're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days after the deaths of Toby Bluma Contento, Paul Hoing, Michael Edward Krieger, Mark Rothman, Warren Seinsheimer. We mark with sympathy and sadness the anniversaries, the yahrzeits of the deaths of Harry Max Auerbach, Sidney Blumenreich, Alexander Bogus, Bunny Braitman, Fanny Yesipovich Brodsky, Rochelle Buckstein, Wayne Eugene Crook, Florence Domesic, Paul Ellenbogen, William Ward Faison, Anna Maria Felder, Anthony J. Floresta, Lou Franklin, Emmanuel Froman, Peggy Gelfand, Hyman Gelfand, Rita Goldblatt, David Michael Goodman, Madison Guggenheim, Manny Guller, William Michael Humphrey, Betty Barber Jones, Ruth Joseph, Roy L. Calver, Suzanne Kaminsky, Nathan S. Kapnick, Alfred Kaufman, Arnold Koslow, Rabbi David Lefkowitz Jr., Sadie Levin, Ann Levinson, Wilson Lewith, May Long, Hannah Mandel, Franklin Mandelbaum, Simon Marcus, Deborah Millman, Catherine Murrison, Peg Murrison, Beatrice Myers, Helen Oken, Philip Lewis Perlman, Morris Pepper, Margaret Portis, Harry Prosno, Victor Racklaw, Evan Rafkin, Sharon Relkin, Bernard Richter, Tomasa Riviera Alicia, Isidore Roseman, Abraham Roskin, Helen Streifer Rothkopf, Ethan Sedinsky, Neil Sandler, Gilda Schiff, Michael Schreibman, Ann Schwab, Benjamin Schwartz, Sam Sepkowitz, Gene Simmons, Richard Sly, Marvin Seufer, Rose Salo, Tamara Spatz, Clara Steelman, Jason Streamer, Jose Suarez, Sheila Tannenbaum, Nate Tobin, Zelda Toller, Albert Warnick, Arlene Warschauer, Joseph Weinrib, Aaron Weinstein, Hannah Weiss, Eric Winger. Remember as well all who died in the Shoah, the Holocaust, our American servicemen and women and first responders who've given their lives for our freedoms, those who died defending the state of Israel. And remember on this evening, of course, also those who've died defending our rights as well. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we rise as one congregational family with the words of Kaddish Tom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. Yitgadal vayitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gadla uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehe shemei rabbah mivarach le'olam ulamei olamaya, Yit barach v'it tabach v'it pa'ar v'it ramam v'it naseh, v'it hadar v'it halev v'it halal shemei kudasha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael,
Please be seated. I'd like to invite forward our congregational president, Alan Kronovit, whose first act as president of our congregation was to work with the board to unanimously pass our reproductive rights resolution as a board to support reproductive advocacy in our congregation. Alan, it's my pleasure to have you here.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, for beautiful services, and thank you for the girls who want to just have choices, tribe, for your powerful personal reflections this evening. Just a few announcements. Following services tonight, the documentary Under God will be shown here in the Blumenthal Sanctuary. The film's runtime is about 20 minutes. After the film, we'll join in the David Silverman Social Hall for an oneg. For those that are not staying for the film, we are providing, wait for it, a to-go neg. A few more announcements. On this Sunday, February 11th, we are having auditions for our Temple Bethel Purim Spiel, Esther story, Taylor's version. What better way to celebrate Esther's heroism in the face of Haman's evil than with the music world's biggest pop star, Taylor Swift, featuring 10 of your favorite Taylor Swift's tunes and a hilarious script. The spiel will take place on March 24th. Registration for that is on Schulcloud. Wednesday, March 6th, here at Temple Bethel at 6 p.m., the Girls Just Want to Have Choices Tribe and the TBE Social Justice and Action Committee will be hosting a screening of the 2023 Sundance and SX, it was South by Southwest, right? South by Southwest. I had to ask the cool rabbi about that. Official selection Plan C. This documentary captures Plan C campaign and the work of activists to provide for male abortion pills across the United States during the pandemic in face of crumbling reproductive rights and access nationwide. A reception of light refreshments will be held afterwards. Information on the calendar. Finally, on the weekend of March 8th, Friday night for sure, 7:30, we'll be hosting our Israel Scholar in Residence program, the strengths and challenges of Abat Minat Israel. The Shabbat services will feature Rabbi Alea Ronan Samuels, who's also a PhD, in the first of 3 presentations over the course of the weekend. Rabbi Samuels will speak during services on the 8th on the strengths and challenges of loving Israel. Inspired by the name of our Israel Fund, Rabbi Samuels explored the reasons she loves Israel and the challenges. For more details, everything is on the website. Shabbat Shalom.
One more thing about Rabbi Samuels. Rabbi Samuels is the president of the Reform Rabbinate in Israel. She's the president of Maram, and so quite literally has been at the center of the Reform movement's response to what's happening in Israel, and we really want to invite you to take advantage of the opportunity to hear the president of the Reform Rabbinate in Israel. With that, we're going to conclude with the words of Asher Yatzar, and then we'll head, for those who want to go out and get a to-go neg, by all means, but then we're going to dim the lights and have an opportunity to watch the presentation.
I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei chol basar umafli lasot. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei chol basar umafli lasot. Whoa, 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 whoa. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll take a minute for stretching, and then we're going to continue on with the presentation.